Hi everyone, this is Aishwarya Sandeep, and like every weekend, I have come up with my show in conversation with Aishwarya. So today, the subject that we are going to talk about is motherhood. Motherhood is not an end to a professional life. Of late, we have seen a lot of debate, a lot of questions about biological clock versus career clock. First of all, I would like to ask, is there something called as a biological clock? Is there something called as a career clock? Because I personally know women who have conceived and delivered healthy babies at the age of 40 without any treatments. And simultaneously, I do know some women who had difficulty to conceive even when they were 25. After all, being a mother is something that depends on your body. Also, timing has got to do very little relationship with the same. Similarly, when we talk about the so-called career clock, I have seen women who's had their own startups at the age of 20, 22, 25. Also, women who had their own startup at the age of 90 plus. I'm not joking. Okay, you can check it for yourself. Coming back to the debate about biological clock versus career clock, a lot of women feel that if they become mothers, they may lose their careers. To be frank, I don't think that's true. It's just a stereotype that has been existing in our society since long. We women always have to make a choice. It can either be career or a baby. It's either baby or an appraisal. It's either baby or a promotion. Why do we still have to make choices when times have changed? When the challenges have changed, the way we work have changed. To talk about the same on how motherhood is not a restriction to your professional life, I have with me Vandana Joshil, who is the managing director of Lajja.
Hello, thank
Hi
you so
Vandana,
much
how
for
are you?
inviting me.
Hi
I'm
Vandana, how
good.
are you?
I'm good. Thank you
Okay,
so much for inviting me.
welcome Vandana, and we are glad to have you back even this week. So Vandana, can you share your journey of restarting your career? Can you share your journey of your entire professional life till date?
Yes, gladly so. Mine was fairly easy. I had my first child in 2011, and I think I took a maternity leave for about 3 months. And I was working with a publication at that time. I was working with a company which brought out for two monthlies and a bi-monthly. So work timings were crazy. So after the first 3 months, the company called me back and said, you come back and we'll do half days. You can just come here for half a day, finish your work, or come up to speed with work and go back. And I said, okay. And I used to go back to work and work for half a day and come back home. It was tiring because as a mother of a 3-month old child, the sleep patterns hadn't set in. So there would be nights where my child was up the entire night, and yet in the morning I would go back to work and try to finish whatever. And I was a writer. I still am a writer, but I was writing for a magazine at that time. So you had to be really in your senses and alert when you're doing your work. After a month's time, the half day would extend. So whenever you have a magazine which has to go to print, in that last minute you have to check, you have to proofread, you have to make sure that the pictures and the written content is matching and all of that. And slowly, before I knew it, by the time it was the fifth month, I think, when the magazine had to go to print, I was working late nights, and it was a cycle which kept repeating. 2 years later, when I conceived my second child, and I didn't want too big a gap between both my children. So when I conceived my second child, I decided to take a break, and I said, no, I'm not going to work for anybody. I'm going to stay at home. I'm going to look after my children and bond with my kids. The first month was amazing. I know, staying with my at home, playing with my daughters, and enjoying motherhood to its fullest. But I think by the time I reached the second month, somewhere inside of me, I was, fearing the fact that I was losing myself. I was
Hmm.
losing, my identity. I was all I was, I was put into a box of being a mother of two beautiful children, a homemaker, and somebody who sat at home and, while my family and my husband did not say this, I could sense it from the others that, oh, you're a homemaker or you're a housewife. And for somebody who has spent years educating herself, for somebody who's worked really hard to crack the exams and get the kind of grades that I did, it didn't seem fair to me, that I am talented, I have the skills required, I have the knowledge, I have the experience, and here I am sitting at home looking after babies. Uh, so one part of me, the mother in me, did not want to leave the children, but the career oriented woman in me, or the woman who looked at herself and looked at all the years of hard work in school, college, and the years of hard work that was spent in building up my career, that lady looked back at me and said, what are you doing sitting at home? And so I started freelancing. So as a freelancer, I have, worked for n number of projects. I have worked at crazy hours, but I have done all of that with the satisfaction that I have a name for myself. I am not just Mrs. Joshil, or I am not just my daughter's mother. I am somebody who's capable of doing so much more, and I am somebody who's actually reaching for my stars. The kind of the pinnacle that I had kept for myself, that I want to reach here. I'm somebody who's, on that journey towards achieving that. And I think that gave me a satisfaction. And today, if I am the managing director of Lajja, I have earned it. I have worked hard to be where I am. And today, when my kids look at me and they see me doing these interviews or see me working with women, they are so proud of me. They are proud that their mother is out there making a difference to people's lives. My husband is proud of me because he sees that, okay, all the potential that I had is being put to use. My family is proud of me because they can see, okay, here is a woman who wants to achieve something, who's driven to do something, and she's doing it. So at the end of the day, the kind of confidence that this achievement gives me is, I don't even think you can explain it in words, so to say. So that has been my journey. So like I said, it has been fairly easy because I decided to freelance, and that's what I did. I started off freelancing with not much expectation. I knew that the pay would be terrible because as a writer, as a freelancer, we know that you could work you could burn the midnight oil and finish a project, but you cannot be assured that the money will come in. So I was
Yes.
ready to forego all of that. I was ready to, cut corners and make ends meet. And okay, if I've done a project, at least there is my name out there that people know that if you need this kind of content, you go to Vandana Joshil and she will deliver. So yes, the payments were terrible at that time. But over the years, I have made a name for myself. Over the years, people know that when they need some kind of a content, the kind that they want, they can come to me. And now I'm in a comfortable space. So it's been a long struggle, but it has been worth it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, Vandana, because even I have had my own share of struggle. But there was one particular question which everybody kept on asking me every now and then. That was like, why do you want to struggle when you have such a comfortable life? That was one question which I never want to answer. But I think I'll take the opportunity to answer that question today. Why I wanted to struggle despite having a comfortable life is because, just as Vandana mentioned, same like her, even I have struggled. I have woken up at 5 a.m. to, catch a 6 a.m. train so that I can reach for the 7 o'clock lecture. I have worked right since the age of 18 as an intern, and slowly and steadily I got picked up, and then I became a lawyer. And, my life was not easy even then. The amount of efforts that I'm putting to raise my children, that was the equal or probably more efforts I had put in building my career. So probably
Absolutely.
it was like, having that my career was my first child, and even today it is my first child. You cannot separate it from me. It is a part of me. It is a part of who I am, and that is like ek pe ek free. You cannot have me separately, and you cannot have my profession separately. So that is how it is. And initially I used to be very shy. I was very, I don't want to use the word, but yes, that is how I felt. I was ashamed because I felt that I had dreams. I had people who put me down saying that, okay, for a woman, you're too ambitious, you cannot have ambitions. That was the reason why I couldn't talk about it openly. But slowly and steadily, post having two kids, when I went out and started talking to a lot of women, that is where I realized that it's not just me. There are n number of women who are stuck like me, and over the years, the frustration builds up, and that is the reason for a lot of disputes in a lot of houses. For example, you just want to tightly hold a woman in a bottle or a box and tell that, okay, these are your jobs, you have to do so and so. Forget your dreams, forget your career. So what happens, over the years, it just bottles up. Those emotions just bottle up in your mind. And at the age of, probably 50 or 60, you keep removing those frustrations on your husband, your kids, your in-laws, your family, everyone, any other person you come across. So I didn't want to do that. I don't want to be 60 and tell my children that, when I was in college or during the early days of my career, I was good. I want to see, I want them to see me at every stage, how I am doing my work, and how I'm managing things, because I think more than their father, they observe me because I'm the person who is there with
Absolutely.
them 24 years. And
Absolutely. Yes.
one of the basic reasons why I've been insisting on women who want to come back to their careers to come back. That doesn't mean that the whole idea of I'm not shaming or I'm not
No,
discouraging women who have
exactly.
decided to stay back at home. It is
Exactly.
your
See, that is,
individual
yeah,
choice.
that is the point. It's
Yeah,
not about saying that it has to be your choice. So if I
yeah,
decided to take that 3 or 4 month break or a year's break, it has to be my choice. I did it because I wanted to take a break. But
yeah,
if I want to go back and I want to put to use all that education and experience that I have, then again it is my choice. You have to respect that choice that I have made. You cannot tell me that this is one of the banes, this is one of an issue that big issue that I have discussions with when I'm talking to my cousins or young girls. I tell them, look, you have, if the guy has studied, say he's done his MBA and you are also an MBA, it has not been easy for you. Nobody has handed you the question paper before the exams and said ye
yeah.
sare questions aane wale hain. You have studied just as hard as he has. So if he is entitled to a career, then so are you. If you decide, yes, women have that advantage where we can say that, yes, I want to be a homemaker because my husband is financially well off and it is my choice not to work. That is the advantage we have. But having said that, it is important also to respect that woman who wants to go out there and work, as much as it is important to respect that woman who wants to stay back and become a homemaker. So that is an advantage that we have. But just because it is an advantage, it shouldn't become the do all and end all of our life. तुम औरत हो, your husband is earning well, you can stay at home. Yes, I know I can stay at home, but I don't want to, because I think that I have put in just the same amount of effort that he has in my education, and I have struggled just as much as him. So I think the struggle that I have put in, I owe it to that struggle to make a name for myself, to go and do what I can do.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Because until and unless you don't respect your education, your hard work that you have put into, we cannot expect our children to respect their education, because they are watching us
Absolutely.
continuously. They'll be like, what is the use of studying if I'm going to sit at home and do nothing? That
Absolutely.
I don't want to listen to that answer. So that is one of the reasons why I started and I decided to get back to my career. So Vandana, moving further, you have been working with Lajja. So can you tell us the journey of Lajja and how it helps in women to come back in their careers or to
Okay.
restart their professional lives?
Yes, so Lajja is a forum which was started in 2014, and it was started only because our founder Riddhi Doshi Patel, who is also a child psychologist and a trainer, so she was conducting these training programs for young children, and what she saw is all these mothers who would come to drop their children. And when mothers come to drop children for workshops, they generally leave the child there and they wait outside and they talk among themselves. So hearing overhearing these conversations, what came through was that all of these women are capable. Some were very well educated, some were very skillful, some were very talented, some were very good with their hands. Whatever it was, all of these women were managing so many roles, besides being talented themselves. They were managing the home, the finances, and all of that. But if you ask a woman what was she doing, I mean, what do you do? The answer would be, oh, I'm just a housewife. that just that just a housewife is what we wanted to change. So Riddhi started Laja with this aim of helping women understand that you are not just a housewife. You are a homemaker who's managing multiple responsibilities, multiple roles, and you're doing a brilliant job of it. With all of that, when you are capable or you want to go ahead and make a life for yourself, make a name for yourself, and become financially independent, we are here to help you. So whether it comes, we have these regular vocational skills development workshops where we bring in a trainer who trains these women in certain skills. So whether it could be as simple as maybe teaching them embroidery. So there are women homemakers who want to learn embroidery and sell, their embroidered products and makes money, which will make them financially independent. Not so much to maybe run the household, but yes, a little bit of money for themselves to use, buy stuff for their children or buy for themselves, whatever gives them joy. So we started off with these skills development workshops. Then we moved on to having mentors who would come and sit with these women, a mentor mentee program where women who had a plan in mind, a business plan in mind, and needed somebody to guide them with the finances, with the now and how and what of a business. These mentors would guide them and help them set up their businesses. Some were successful, some were not. I'm not boasting and saying that all our programs have been successful, but yes, we have at least made that attempt. We have at least tried to get women to come out of their shells, to come out of their homes, accept and acknowledge what they are good at, and work on developing those skills of theirs. So when that is the first step towards any progress. So when women are able to do that, I think then you can talk of a financially stable or a financially independent life. We also have a program in mind. We are The prototype is ready to roll out, but we're still in discussions, and there's a lot more that we want to do in that space, where, like, second careers, we try and help women upgrade themselves. I keep talking about upgrading and updating a woman, because what happens is when you take a break and you're sitting at home, you tend to forget that the world is still moving ahead. You are busy with your life, your children, your family, but the world is not stopping with you. There are so many changes that are happening. So like the example that I gave you, I'm not an MBA in finance, but if I was an MBA in finance, I know finance, I'm good in finance. But when I have, wherever I took a break from, the world has moved on from there. The jargon has changed, the language has changed. There are so many new things that have come in. Do I know all of that? Am I aware? Tomorrow if I had to sit in front of somebody and talk about finance, will I be able to talk about it, or am I outdated? So it is very important to have this updating and upgrading yourself. So that is what Laja has been doing with all the women that have been with us. So before COVID struck and before the pandemic and the lockdown, we used to have these physical meets and physical interactions and physical workshops. Now, of course, it's all online. And I think this online thing has been a boon for us, because we've been able to do double the amount of workshops that we did before. So on any given week, mm, we have experts coming in and talking about their journey, sharing insights with these women. We have experts coming and sharing leads as to where these women can find help. We have trainers coming and talking about training these women online on, it could be minute details, it could be how to face an interview. So imagine a woman who's taken a 4 year break and now she's come back into the corporate world. She goes for her first interview. She doesn't know, she's not sure about what she should be wearing. She's not sure about what she should be carrying with her when she goes for an interview. She's not sure about what she should be telling the interviewer. What is the questions, what are the kind of answers that the interviewer is expecting from her. She doesn't know. So we help all of these women learn that, train themselves, and go out there more confident and more sure of themselves than they were before.
Yeah, Vandana, it's absolutely true, because it may seem like a very small aspect. What are you going to wear for an interview? But when you are going back after a break of probably by 10 to 15 years, even when you're going back after a break of 2 to 3 years, everything has changed. The way you appear, the way you talk, the way you present yourself. For example, I'll just tell you something about myself. I was good at public speaking ever since I remember. I'm not boasting, but yes, that has always been my strength. I could just talk in my sleep. And through my college days, it was like somebody would just tell me, go, you have to talk on this. And then I could manage the stage like for an hour or so. But post the delivery of my first kid, same thing happened, and I had to go on the stage and talk. Something that had never happened to me in my life happened, and that was I blacked out. I was saying all the wrong things, and it was a huge competition that was being held on, and I was supposed to, do a dummy case sort of, and I really messed up. That was the biggest mess up of my life. It had never happened to me. But yes, I'm very thankful that that mess up happened, because it was a very depressing moment for me. I cried a lot, and it was very difficult for me to accept that someone who was so good could also be in this space.
Yes.
Ever since then, I have ensured that I keep on continuously upgrading myself. And one of the most easiest way for me to upgrade myself was to write, because to write you have to research. To research you have
Yes.
to read. So
Yes.
that was the simplest and the cheapest way to upgrade myself. And slowly and steadily, writing gave me back everything I had been I have been continuously investing. And that was one of my main purpose of starting this Facebook live. And I started doing it with someone else, so that there is a pressure on me that no, so and so person has agreed to come at this time, so I have to be there. So
Yes.
sometimes it is mandatory that you take the help of others, you take the support of others, because
Absolutely.
if today we
Absolutely.
had not scheduled this program at 4:30, I would have been happily sleeping or doing nothing, watching the Korean dramas. That's all that I would have been doing. But now, because we have scheduled it, there is a pressure that no, I have to be here at 4:30. So even I personally believe that even if you don't want to get back to your career, there is no harm in upgrading yourself in
No
smaller
harm
ways.
at all.
Upgrading should not be expensive. So coming down to our next question, Vandana, how can a woman upgrade herself, and what are the pointers that she needs to keep in mind while she is upgrading herself to be
Okay.
ready for the future world?
Yes, very important to keep upgrading yourselves and your skills. And I think the easiest method to do that is read the newspapers. First and foremost, every day read the newspaper, because no matter which field you are from, there is something or the other which is there in the newspaper which tells you what your field, where your field is right now. So whether you're an entrepreneur, every day in the business section of the newspaper, there's something or the other for an entrepreneur. If you're a woman entrepreneur, then you have to keep your eyes and ears open for anything related to women entrepreneurs, whether it is the budget, what are the softs that you're getting, what are the schemes that the government has launched for you. Keep yourself updated with all of that. Next step is, you go a step further. You read books. You read books by people who inspire you. You read books by people who are from your field and who have made a name for themselves, who are achievers. You read their story, you read their journey, and you will get a lot of insights from them. The third thing is, keep listening to seminars, keep attending, these kind of discussions that people are having, because you will know things that you have never thought of before. no, like I always say that no question is stupid. If you don't ask the question, then you're stupid. So
Yeah.
if there is a question in your mind, probably there's somebody out there who's already answering that question. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. And we are in a generation, we are in a, in a current world where we have these podcasts which are, if you're busy, you either put on your earphones and listen to a podcast from your field, related to your field. You can cut your vegetables, you can wash your clothes, you can look after your baby, you can do all of that just with that thing plugged into your ear. So, agar, you could listen to an 2 hour long conversation and not really understand all of it, but at least five pointers you will leave their mark behind in your brain. So do that. Keep yourselves upgraded. Look at the youngsters, learn their jargon, see where they are going. Because the current crop of youngsters who are coming out of MBA and who are coming out of, business schools, they have a very focused approach to most things. So women who are above a certain age, I'd say about 35 even, I'm 40 plus. But if about 35 even, you interact with these youngsters, you will learn so much from them. So upgrading, if you have the funds, go ahead, do a program. There are so many programs offered by so many institutes. The Mumbai University has, the Garware, the Wellinger Institute has, Garware has, NMIMS has. There are so many MBA institutes which give you short-term courses which you can do. Yes, if you have the money for it, and if you are willing to, invest that kind of a money in it. If you want to do a full-time program, do that, but do something. Start, and that start has to happen now. You cannot keep thinking, okay, let my kids' exams get over and then I will join a program. No, if you're thinking about the program, start right now. If you're thinking about the program right now, please, after the end of this talk, research a little bit more on what programs are there in your field, what can help support your field. Go ahead, enroll, at least read up about it, but do something. Take that first step, which is very, very important.
Yeah, Vandana, that's absolutely true. It is important that we take the first step. And, I would also like to add on to what you said. One of the best ways to, upgrade yourself is also through the social media. Because as I started with my writing and blogging, I joined a lot of groups that was exclusively for writers and bloggers. So, there they used to conduct a lot of discussions and live
Exactly.
sessions where they used to talk about how you can improve. And a lot of things I learned from observing others rather than somebody teaching me. So, yeah,
Yes,
social media is also one of the best places where you can just observe others. It is not only limited to, who or what. The social media will also give you a proper platform to show your skill set, as well
yes,
as you can learn from others. If you are interested in embroidery, if you are interested in probably mehndi, if you're interested in makeup, follow those people who
yes,
create content on the same. Just follow them
yes.
and ask queries. I mean, that's a really wonderful statement that you made, that no question is stupid and you are stupid if you don't ask a question. That is so absolutely true. Because I was a stupid who never asked questions because I was that scared. And the
Yes,
day I moved that fear, and that is the
that
day I
fear.
started moving ahead.
Absolutely, it's a fear. What are you afraid? I mean, this is a question that I want to put out to all the women who are watching us. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of falling? Then it's okay. I mean, even when a child starts to walk, the child falls and then only learns to walk. So it's okay.
Yeah,
You are not. You are going to be, probably people are going to congratulate you for the attempt that you made. So do that. There are people out there who encourage you, who support you. But start off. At least take that first step towards self development, self growth, and finding yourself.
yeah, that's absolutely true. And another thing that I would like to add on is networking. Now, networking was
Yes,
something that I was very bad at. So, networking again, considering the COVID situation, the social media is one of the best places where you can network. You can use your LinkedIn and Facebook very effectively if you know how to make a right conversation. And just typing a hi is a very good icebreaker. You don't have to think about it. If a person wants to entertain you, they will entertain you. They don't want to, they won't entertain you. And Vandana,
absolutely.
you said too about the programs. I have done one program from IIM Bangalore, which is
Okay.
exclusively for women entrepreneurs. Now, the thing is,
Yes.
I couldn't submit a couple of assignments because of my personal issues, but otherwise, I had completed all the stages. And trust me, the training that I got in that 1 month was immense. It was only after undertaking that training, that is Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore ka Women Entrepreneurship Program, they do it and they
Yes.
incubate some 10,000 women's startups that are incubated by women. Sorry, they incubate 10,000 startups that are started by women.
Why women? Yes.
Trust me, the amount of information, the amount of knowledge and the just listening to the problem solving skills from others, it teaches you so much. It was
Yes.
only after that program that I got more focused from how I could use my blog and my website to reach more people, how I could use it more effectively. So similarly,
Absolutely.
we also have Niti Aayog, which is under the government of India, and even
Yes.
Niti Aayog has a lot of programs for women entrepreneurs or for women who want to start their small businesses. We can always look out for them on their websites. So yeah,
Yes.
these are two, three programs which which anybody can access, and these are very cheap or very low cost, or almost free. Probably only thing is you need to put your efforts. That is
You
the
need to
only
put.
requirement.
Yes. So there are like there are a couple of things like which a woman who wants to really step out there and find her true self needs to do. One is she needs to plan ahead. So plan
Yeah.
what is it in your mind? What do you want to do? So take a time period. So take 1 year down the line. What is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to achieve? Write it down. And once you have written down what you want to achieve, write down what you have to do to achieve that. So you have
Hmm.
a plan in place. Second, you have to update and upgrade yourself. So once you have your plan, you have highlighted what is it that you want to do in 1 year's time. You work towards achieving that. So first you start with a clean slate. So on that slate you will start writing your ABCs, start
Hmm.
upgrading yourself, and working on your skills. Learn new skills. It could be interpersonal. Like you said, you were terrible at networking, but that is something that is needed in this world. So
Yes.
learn how to network. It could be small things, just walk into a group. If you see a group of people, just walk there and start talking. In the social media world, you can just, like you said, just drop a hi. I think that's how you and I connected. You
Yeah,
dropped
that's
me
what
a hi,
I
and we started conversing. So start with that. What is the worst that could happen? Somebody could block you. Okay, move on to the next person, but start interacting with people who come from your field, whose interests and likes seem to match with what you have in mind. Update your CV. Always keep an updated resume and updated CV ready. You never know when opportunity comes knocking. So always keep your CV updated. Even if there is nothing that you have done, the fact that you have educated, I mean, you're educated, the fact that you have achieved so much, even small minor achievements, you can list it down, but update your CV. And then, like I said, you have to network. The next most important thing that women need to keep in mind is you need to find and build your support system. I mean, there was a statement made by Indira Nooyi where she said that she's able to handle her job as well as she could because she has a great support staff. So when you talk about your support staff, it doesn't necessarily mean your maid or your driver or whoever that is. It could also mean your family. So if your mother-in-law, you're staying with your in-laws, then your in-laws are your best support staff. They can look after your children, at least the immediate needs of the child when you are occupied. If you have a maid who can look after the child, work on that. If you have a driver who can go pick up and drop your child from school and is reliable and trusted, do that. But build this support staff for yourself. So like I said, it doesn't matter what the relationship is. Even if it's your neighbor, it's a trustworthy neighbor, a neighbor who can handle your child when you are busy building yourself up. Use that. And of course, you have to extend your own help there. Stop being emotionally bullied. Women who start off with their second careers, the first and the most regular thing that they hear is, oh, you don't have time for your children. Oh, you don't have time for the family. You know, look at yourself, ask yourself, have I not given my child enough time? If the answer you answer yourself as no, I'm not given enough time, then try to fix it, give your child time. But that doesn't mean that you drop what you're doing and completely focus on your child. Remember, children will grow up, they will find their own calling, and they will move out. What will you do then? There should be no, at that, at that sunset of your life, living in regret, I think, would be the biggest sin that you do to yourself. So find your support staff. Stop being emotionally bullied. A person will come. Anybody who's outside your home or outside your family can come and tell you, "Oh, you don't have time for your family." Tell them you have time. You are doing the best you can, and the people who are to be bothered or affected the most don't have a problem. So I don't think anybody else should have a problem with that. Take criticism, take brickbats the way it is. If somebody is telling you that something is wrong, don't always be offended by it. Listen to it. Like somebody recently told me that I needed to work on my dressing because I am, I come online and I present myself. And I completely was, while I was taken aback, I appreciated that concern. The fact that somebody out there has noticed what I am wearing and has reached out to me to tell me that you need to change the what you're wearing, I think that signifies, one, that people are watching me, which means I have made a name for myself, and second, that there are concerned people out there, people who really wish well for me and they want to help me become better. So I'm appreciating that and I acknowledge that person for doing that for me. So take your brickbats and criticism with a pinch of salt, accept what has to be accepted, and also appreciate all the compliments that come your way. If somebody is telling you you're doing a good job, don't brush it off saying nahi ye to kuch nahi hai. No, that person has appreciated your hard work, so say thank you, and next try to better what you have already done. And the most important of all, I think, is to, motivate yourself and celebrate those small triumphs. So like you said, you started writing. I think you should celebrate the fact that you started writing. It's such an amazing went out for all that it's in your mind. So start
Yeah.
with that. Start congratulating yourself for these small things that we have done. So every time I'm able to do a live session like this, at the end of the live session I congratulate myself and I probably have a small celebration because I did it with confidence and without goofing up. So
Yeah.
these kind of things, I think these are some of the things that women need to keep in mind and then use it to better themselves, to grow themselves.
That's absolutely true, and in fact, you just answered both my questions that I was going to ask you. That was how to balance personal and professional life. Uh, I think the best answer you could have given was that you've already given is to build your good support system. It is very important that we need to have support system because we women, we are not super moms. We are not super women, or we are not multitaskers. We are normal human beings, and yes,
Human.
we do have our own restrictions. If you overwork yourself 10 years down the line, it is going to affect your health. So I think if you want to restart your careers, one of the important facts that women need to take care about is also their physical health and their mental health. Because we are so desperate in pleasing everyone, whether it's your boss, whether it's your husband, whether it's your kid, your neighbors, and any random person who doesn't even matter, that we just forget about ourselves. So you don't have to cook an entire elaborate meal for your family before you leave to work. But yes, ensure that even if it's a dal khichdi that you have cooked for them, sit with them and eat. That is what will
Yes,
matter the most to your family, and it is not that भले ही तुम 10 पकवान बना लो टेबल पे रख के चले जाओ. That will not matter to them. What will matter
yes,
to them is you
absolutely.
sit and eat simple dal chawal with them, and they'll be very happy. I've also had a conversation once in a similar live session with a psychologist, and she was like, a lot of people think that it is important that a child gets a mother throughout the day. There is no such requirement as such. Even if you are spending half an hour with your child, spend it as a quality time. Do
Yes,
something that you are exclusively with your child. No cell phones, no distractions, no work stress or anything.
absolutely.
If you give that half an hour in a day with your child, the changes that you see in them is immense, because I did that mistake. I could not differentiate between quality and quantity. And from the time I have started giving quality time, it's nothing, it's just a simple exercise. We just pick up feathers, these bird feathers, whatever we get it from our society garden, bring
Yeah.
them home and make simple craft items. It's nothing, you just draw something and you attach it. Like you draw a girl and you put all the feathers as it's a skirt, and he's making finger family and feather family.
Okay.
This is a very simple exercise, but trust me, I've been struggling with making him write for about 2 years, and I got the thing done in 2 days from the time I started doing this activity with my kid. So
Yes.
instead of feeling guilty that I'm working on the laptop and he's not doing something, I just try to spend more quality time, and this quality time that we spend is only 10 minutes. It's not even 2 hours or whatever. So, in fact, the
Yes.
time that we spend in quantity has drastically reduced in the last few days, and the quality time that we spend have increased. And that is the reason why neither he feels guilty nor I feel guilty, because then rest of the day he's on his own. He just does
Yes.
whatever he wants. So
Absolutely.
we are not that tied up. And the most important thing that I would like to tell women is that don't get inspired by wrong things on social media, because a lot of social media is fake. You need to remember that, because I
Yes.
personally feel that you cannot do everything, you cannot be everywhere. One in a million women will be able to do it. And don't compare yourself. I think comparing yourself is the worst thing a woman could do to herself. We just end up
Absolutely.
comparing that, okay, she has this, I don't have this, she is doing this, I can't do this. That is one of the worst things that a woman can do. Vandana, one last question. How can a woman not feel guilty for her actions? Because whatever decision we take, the society will ensure that you are made to feel guilty. So,
Yes. Uh, Actually, there is no remedy for what society can say or does say. Uh,
yeah.
the first and foremost that I'd say is that let naysayers be. I mean, कुछ- क्या what is that song? कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे,
Yes.
लोगों का काम है कहना. तो उनका काम है कहना. So let them do it. But like I told you, learn to take criticism and brickbats with a pinch of salt. लोगों का काम है वो कहते रहेंगे. You have to be true to yourself. So if it is something like you are not giving your child enough time, if somebody is telling you that तुम तो बच्चों को time ही नहीं देती हो, think for yourself, have I really not given my child time? Have I really, and like you said, quality time, have I really not given my child quality time? And I'm sure mostly the answer will be no, I've given my child enough and a good amount of time. That is more than enough for yourself. Spend that 5 minutes, like you said. I try to make it a routine to tell my daughters a bedtime story every night when they go to sleep. So I am there for that 5 to 10 minutes that you need to tell them a story. For them, that is the quality time, and I use them for instances. So yeah, I would make them the hero of the story, or I would pick up an incident that I saw them doing and use that as a story to tell them, so they are excited because they are the hero of the story. They get a learning at the end of the story that we should have done this or should not have done that. They're excited that they're spending time with mama, even if it is when they're falling asleep, but mama is there for them. That is more than enough for me. So for the rest of the day, if somebody has to tell me, and I'm telling you, my father is my biggest critique. So my father tends to, and he's old school, so he tends to call me and tell me, you aren't spending time with your children. And I tell him that it's okay, dad, I know how much I can give my children. My children know how much they can expect from me, and I think that's enough. I'm not God. I'm human. I can do only this much. And if I'm doing a terrible job at it, I will try to fix it. But there's nothing more that I can do. So, लोगों का काम कहना है, उनको कहने दो. You continue doing what you can do, because everybody knows that, when you become a mother or when you are responsible for people in the house, there are so many women who don't have children and who prefer not to have children, but they have their own homes. Your home is also your child. So whether you're cleaning your home, you will definitely not, 2 days you might not clean your house. The third day you will pick up a duster to clean it out, because that is something that is connected to you. So let the naysayers be. Let them say what they want to say. Don't be too affected by that. It's all that I have to say.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, because a mother's guilt is something that's very heavy, and that is one point which has been restricting a lot of women from coming back to their careers. It is the fear of facing that guilt. It is the fear of facing failure which has been restricting a lot of mothers. And
Like I
so
said,
yeah,
children will grow up.
yeah,
Your child will need you for the first 10 years of his or her life. After that, they're going to have their own opinions. They're going to have their own social circle, their own social life. And once your child is a teenager, then you can see less and less of him or her. Then the home is just a place where they come to eat, sleep, and, maybe interact with the family, but not so much emotionally. They're not going to be there all the time. And of course,
yeah.
once children grow up and they find their own lives, then what are you going to do? Are you going to think back that I should have done this at that age and I did not do it? So they get rid of that guilt, because guilt is not really going to help you grow, and guilt is not going to help you nourish yourself. So just forget the guilt and move on. You're doing the best, and let nobody tell you any different. You're a brilliant mother, you're a lovely mother, your child loves you. It's like that story where the child says that my mother is the most beautiful in the world. Look at it from your child's eye. It's your child complaining. Does your child tell you that, Mama, you're not giving me time? Then you need to sit up and notice and say, okay, my child also feels it. But otherwise, rest assured, your child is very, very happy with the kind of arrangement you have right now.
So thank you so much, Vandana. This was really an enlightening and an amazing session. And I really
Pleasure is
hope
all
a lot of mothers, a lot of women, a lot of fathers see this session and understand that motherhood is not the end of your professional career. And before we wind up, if you could just tell us how the mothers or women who want to restart their careers get in touch with Lajja.
Okay, so yes, you can find us on Facebook. I will share the link with you. Probably you could
In
share
the
it in the
comment
group.
section.
Yes, I'll put it in
Yeah.
the comment section. I can't put it in the main comment section, so I'm putting it in the private one. And
Okay.
my email ID also I'll give you.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can connect with us on Facebook at Laja 2014, and you can email us at hello@laja.org.in. And please make a small effort in improving yourselves, improving your lives, because an enriching, we get only one life. So let us live it to the full potential. Let us live it and enjoy life every day. And let us live it because, like I told you, it is not that women are handed their degrees on a platter. हमने भी उतनी ही मेहनत की है जितने आदमियों ने की है. So if he's entitled to a career, I think you are entitled to one too. Homemaker,
Yeah,
that is also yours. So be happy doing whatever you're doing, but always keep upgrading yourself. So if you're a homemaker, then learn a new dish, something new, something that could be different from what you were today, something that will add to you as a person, to your personality. So be the best version of yourself every day.
thank you so much, Vandana. This was really an inspiring talk. I really hope that a lot of women on this Women's Day choose to challenge their present self. They choose to challenge the stereotypes that the society has enforced on them. So thank you so much, Vandana. It was really
Thank
great
you.
having you on this. And to all the mothers, women, fathers, entrepreneurs, and whoever wants to contact Laja, I have already mentioned that the details about their Facebook page in the comment section. I'll be also editing, the main introduction of this video, and I'll be adding the contact details of Laja over there. So thank you so much, Vandana, for
Thank
spending
you.
this time with us and telling a lot of women on how they could come back, because everyone tells women that you need to get back to their careers, you need to get back, but nobody is ready to handhold them. nobody is ready to tell them on how you can go ahead. So thank you so much for doing the same with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.